Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do.
What's going on, everyone? What's going on? It is DylanLasagna here for another week of DylanLasagna Live on a Thursday. Hopefully we'll have things back on track next week. Tomorrow on Friday. Next Friday on our normal day, because tomorrow I have to go do more like adult stuff. But we're here today. At least there's a DylanLasagna Live this week. But next week, hopefully, we'll be back on schedule for our normal day of DylanLasagna Live. If you followed the channel lately, we've been doing some San Andreas streams. Yesterday didn't end so well because there was like a bit of like, bit rate issues that I had. Dropped frames. I don't know why the hell that happened. So that caused the stream to crash multiple times for people. It lagged for me too, and it sucked because when I did the first one on Monday, that didn't happen at all. I had the frame limiter off in the game. I had it at 60 frames, but for some odd reason it was fine. But here, like yesterday, none of it worked like at all. It was like midway through, it was just like a shit show on Wednesday. But anyway, go check out those San Andreas streams. We're trying to 100% the game without cheating, without using cheat codes, because that is something that I've never done yet. I played GTA San Andreas many times in my life, but I have never done so without relying on cheat codes. So we're gonna continue our push someday, and sometime this coming couple of weeks. I'm not sure when the next one will be, but hopefully soon. Yeah, I expect that from the gaming streams. They'll be like unannounced. But here we are, episode 37, DylanLasagna live. But man, that was a crazy weekend of NFL playoff, and that was like a really good start to the push to the Super Bowl. We're gonna talk about that all throughout this show, the 4 games that happened in this weekend. Before we talk about that though, there's just some really quick thing for this week's random tidbit. For all you Pokemon fans out there, there was a Pokemon Direct earlier today. There was new and paid DLC that was announced. So it's like expansion passes. I forgot what it was called, but I don't really pay too much attention to Pokemon. But one thing to note was that, remember how there was this huge uproar about how not all the Pokemon were being added to the game? Now over 200 Pokemon are going to be added in the game like throughout the year. So I guess they're not going to do like a yearly Pokemon game like they did before. So the next one I think is going to come out, like the next new one's going to come out next year, because now they have the expansion passes. They have this update with adding the rest of the Pokemon in there, and I'm not sure how that's gonna work, but I don't really care about Pokemon, so why should I care? Then you had Pokemon Mystery Dungeons DX also being announced. I never played the original, and that releases on March 6th, so just a week or two before Animal Crossing New Horizons. So all in all, for those of you that play Pokemon like at all in your life, or just love the series in general, it's debatable if you watch this direct, whether or not this was good or bad news for you. Whether or not you'll be picking up any of the things announced today, it's up to you. I just would personally prefer a general Nintendo Direct sooner rather than later, because there's still a lot of holes that Nintendo needs to fill for this year. We have nothing in February, and all we have now is something in March with Animal Crossing's New Horizon, and now Pokemon Mystery Dungeons Deluxe. But other than March, it's like there is nothing in for the rest of the year. I mean, except for Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, but you already know how I feel about Xenoblade Chronicles. It's like that game's scheduled to come out this year, but when exactly? It's like we're gonna need Direct to kick off, like so at least very soon, because we need to learn a lot. We gotta learn a lot here, people. So that was the Pokemon Direct and your random tidbit for this week. So let's get right into the main stuff here, actually. So if you're a football fan, not soccer. Sorry, soccer fans. Your World Cup is not until the summer. I think it's not until the summer. I don't know. But anyway, this was a really fun weekend for the NFL playoffs. I'm sorry, my voice sounds like really crappy. I'm still like under the weather, but anyway, bear with me. What better way to start the NFL playoffs than your yearly tradition of the Houston Texans kicking things off on your Saturday afternoon? This time around, they drew a Buffalo Bills team that had a really good defense, but a somewhat suspect offense. I say suspect because while Josh Allen had some good games, a lot of those good games came against really bad teams. You look at the game against the Redskins, you look at the game against the Jets, the Giants, I guess you could say, did they play the Eagles no, they didn't. They played the Eagles, but they got destroyed by them. It's like, that's the point I'm making. It's like they played all these bad teams during the season, and then when it came to the winning teams, he beat up on the Cowboys. That was actually their most impressive win. They almost beat the Patriots in Week 16. And if they didn't have that many mistakes that they did in that game, they could have won the division. It's like the Patriots would have been the one on the road. And I think they still could have lost, to be honest, in the wild card. He also struggled against Lamar Jackson, the Ravens. The fourth quarter comeback that he tried to do didn't really change anything. And he even struggled against what was left of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, yeah, it was pretty much a game to solidify that you're the 5 seed in your playoff spot. But it's like you're facing a team that has been shifting around with their quarterbacks, and you couldn't even put them away. You couldn't even take out the trash. But that was kind of like the roller coaster of the Bills all season. But in this game in particular, it's like Josh Allen did some things. He had a lot of good throws to John Brown and Cole Beasley, and he just made a lot of good plays. He even had a touchdown reception from John Brown that gave the Bills their first points. But that was pretty much the only touchdown from the Bills. It's like it was all Stephen Hauschka from there on out. As for the Texans, this was their first wild card game since last year. I mean, yeah, it's I say last year because when they played in last year, it's they got whooped by the Colts because of that terrible ass offensive line. The offensive line was still pretty crap here. But they when it came to the third quarter, but I'll get to that in a bit. The first half, actually, the Texans only had 62 yards of total offense. And it's the Bills really got to Deshaun Watson. It's like they sacked him multiple times, and it's they pretty much shut down DeAndre Hopkins from getting open. So it's 16-0 midway through the third. Things really began to unravel for the Bills. They were playing good defense all game. Josh Allen is pretty much trying to keep the game in control. He's trying to limit the mistakes as much as possible. But I think the Bills forgot there was a half of football that left to be played. And that's because the Texans, as soon as the Bills made it 16-0, here come the Texans marching down the field 9 plays later. Deshaun Watson ran down from the 20-yard line to score the Texans' first points. Yeah, it's well, this might be a game. And then he did it again. He did it again. He got the 2-point conversion. He barely just reached the pylon. Just enough for 2. So now the lead is cut in half. And the Houston crowd woke up. They woke up because it's they thought they were going to get dominated at home again. So the defense is once again there. Josh Allen, 5 plays later, he gets strip sacked by Whitney Merciless, and the ball got recovered by Jacob Martin, and even though the Bills can't really do, the Texans couldn't really do much, they still cut the lead to 16-11 on a Cammy Fairbairn field goal. So the pressure is somewhat almost on the Bills fully. The Bills can't do anything. They have to punt, and the Texans get the ball back. So all the while, Texans have the ball. They eat up clock. They torch the Bills' defense, and they're all of a sudden they're finding a rhythm. They are finding a rhythm, and next thing you know, they're on the 5-yard line. Deshaun Watson throws the ball, and for some odd reason, even though they're at home, I guess the crowd is just really into it at this point. Deshaun Watson has to use a silent count at home. It's like I've only seen that from like Chargers games, like LA Clipper Charger games. But it's like I never seen any other team like at home use a silent count. But anyway, that's beside the point. Deshaun Watson clutch found Carlos Hyde for a 5-yard touchdown. That gave the Texans the lead, and the Bills fully blew it. Not yet, at least. There's still like a bunch of time left, because both teams turned it over on downs, which was kind of silly because the Texans still had it with like after the 2-minute warning, and then the Bills had used all their timeouts, but it was 4th and 1, and it was like all the Texans had to do was sneak the ball, or like either run it with Carlos Hyde or Duke Johnson, or sneak it in with Deshaun Watson. But Deshaun Watson couldn't sneak it in. It's like, oh no, we're for a crazy turn of events here. And I was right. Josh Allen almost cost them the game by fumbling the ball in the midst of running past the first down. But fortunately, someone knocked it out of bounds to prevent someone from the Texans from recovering it. And oh my God, I think that was one of the reasons why Josh Allen fumbled, was he was trying to make something happen. I don't know if he was trying to lateral it to someone, but it was like, what the hell are you doing, Allen? It's like, you're doing too much. You're overdoing it. So a couple of plays later, Allen throws it to Cole Beasley. He looked short of the line again because he had his knee down when he was touched, but the refs gave him the first down anyway. Hoshka kicks the field goal. We're in overtime, tied at 19, and here we go. The Texans get the ball first. They can't do anything with it anyway, because Laramie Tunsil decided to be a dumb shit and give them a false start. So they have to punt like on their first possession. So all the Bills have to do here is drive down the field, get in Stephen Hoshka's range, and kick the field goal. Simple as that, right? Well, they were that close to getting there, but someone by the name of Zach Cunningham completely ruins it. It's like he ruined their chance of winning it with a blindside block, and it cost them 15 yards. So the Bills can't do it. Like, the Bills can't get a completed pass, so they have to punt, all because of a penalty. So it's the Texans' turn yet again, and Deshaun Watson was evading defenders, evading sacks, like he's freaking Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes all in one body. He found Duke Johnson so he can get first down yardage again. Then, in one of the most critical plays of the game, he yet again avoided the Bills, and found a Texans receiver for a big gain to put them at the 10-yard line, clearly in good field goal range for Cammy Fairbairn. So all they have to do is kick the game-winning field goal, and that's easy peasy, right? Nah, he missed it. Now the Bills can go try to win the game-winning field goal again. Nah, I'm just kidding. Fairbairn made it, and the Texans complete the comeback, 22-19. That was a crazy game. That was a really fun game. It's like, as soon as the Texans were down 16-0, I didn't expect them to like come back from that. But crazy things that happen, you know. I remember last year it was like when they faced the Colts. It was 21-7. It was like, I don't know, maybe Deshaun Watson could make a comeback like in this game, but it's like, nah, it never happened. But this time it did, though. This time it did, and it showed. It's like, it was really crazy. It was really fun, and the Texans are moving on. I just don't think it's a really good option for Bill O'Brien to like wait until like late in the third quarter to like wake the F up when you need to like go and score right away, like because you were down 16-0 and now you're bald ass decide to like just score not like right then and now, and you have to like play catch up for like a big majority of the game. But it's like, that's not a good strategy, because guess who you're facing next? Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. So even though you beat them in week 3, Patrick Mahomes is healthier, and their defense is like somewhat less of a pushover than they previously were last season. So that's going to be a fun matchup. That's really going to be fun. That rematch is going to be really fun to see. The Bills, man, when was the last time they won a playoff game? I think it was in the late 1990s. They can't get a win. But I kind of expected that too. It's like they had a lot of questions going in with like the play of Josh Allen and like were their wins legit. They were clearly a suspect 10-6 team, and that showed in this game. But it's not the end of the world. They could develop on this. They got some good playoff experience from this. Certainly not the one they wanted, but something they can learn from. It's like, I don't know where they need to improve. I don't know where they need to improve, like in the off season. I think the most important thing is like the continued development of Josh Allen, obviously. Maybe some more playmakers on defense. I don't know where. It's like the pass rush seems to be fine from just watching the wild card game, but I think they need some more like corner and some more help in the secondary maybe. But who am I to like give them advice? I'm just like a fan. Excuse me. That was nasty. So anyway, the nightcapper for Saturday was the Titans and Patriots. It's like, you know, the team you love to hate, the Pats. A lot of people didn't give the Titans the chance in this game. It's like, even though you had Mike Vrabel, riding, like he didn't have like the best chance against Bill Belichick. But it's like you had Derrick Henry, the Titans' top player, Ryan Tannehill, who replaced Marcus Mariota, the supposed franchise quarterback for the Titans. Like at some point during the season, and dang it, dang it. Yeah, you have it. Where was I? Oh yeah. So Marcus Mariota gets replaced mid-season by Ryan Tannehill, and all of a sudden he helps the Titans get to the playoffs, and they're facing the Patriots, who were not on the best string of things to end their December. They started 8-0 because of the defense they had, but it's like after the Ravens game, they were pretty much exposed from that point. The defense like was giving up so much big plays, so many yardage. The offense wasn't doing that great either. It's like it was either that there was no talent around Brady, and there's a lot of distrust from his receivers outside of Julian Edelman, obviously, or it's the fact that maybe age might just be finally catching up to Tom Brady. Maybe he won't be able to get to play up to 45, but it all caught up to them when after they lost to the Texans, to the Chiefs, all in the span of the month of December. They almost lost to the Bills. After they beat the Bills to get the division, all they had to do to get a first round bye was beat the hapless Dolphins, and that was pretty much it. So they could get their another bye in the playoffs. But they didn't beat the Dolphins. And the Chiefs got the bye instead. So the Patriots are now playing. The Patriots played last weekend, and it was it became pretty apparent that the reasons that I just stated, the once good defense of the Patriots that got exposed, the lack of trust in the offense, the offensive line that also kind of had cracks in it because of injuries. It's like everything all around had a bunch of cracks in it, and it showed in this game. It's like even though the Patriots got a field goal on their opening drive, it's like the Titans pretty much responded with a Ryan Tannehill touchdown pass. So it's like the two teams held each other in check until Julian Edelman got an end around play to jump the Patriots lead to 13-7. 10-7, which was followed by a Nick Folk field goal later on. But after that, it was just like they pretty much got shut out in the second half. It was like nothing was happening for them after that. It was like the Patriots defense made key plays, like Duron Harriman made an interception in the third. It's like they couldn't follow up on those big plays because it was like either no one on offense was trustable enough to move the ball, or the defense couldn't stop Derrick Henry or whoever was getting the ball from Ryan Tannehill. It's like, I'll get to Derrick Henry in a second, actually right now, because the Titans, they came in with a Derrick Henry heavy game plan, and I think that's a bad recipe for success for the Ravens to go against the Ravens. It worked here against the Patriots because their run defense wasn't really as good as the season progressed, and it's like they just couldn't really stop the Patriots. Couldn't really stop them. But again, at the same time, it's like it also has that risk of injury and fatigue on Derrick Henry because, again, they're facing the top seed Ravens on Saturday, and the Ravens will likely focus their efforts in locking down Derrick Henry so they can force Ryan Tannehill to throw more. So, looking ahead to that matchup, it's like they need to balance using Derrick Henry and having Ryan Tannehill pass the ball. But it's like they also need to figure out if you can stop Lamar Jackson. It would be crazy if they can. Because as much as Lamar Jackson throws the ball, he can also like pass the ball as well. It's like he has that big trust with his receivers. Hollywood Brown, I forget his other receivers, but Mark Ingram should be back on Saturday, so you got to figure it out to stop him as well. Pretty much the Ravens defense, it's like you got to figure out how to stop Derrick Henry as well. But looking at the Patriots, they have a lot of questions to answer. It's like you have a lot of questions after losing in the wild card when you lost the first round bye for the first time since 2009. It's like you have to find receivers outside of Edelman to have that big trust. But before you find that big receiver, you got to answer the question. It's like you got to convince Brady to return to the Patriots. If that depends if he will, because for the first time in his career, he's a free agent. In the same time, he's 42 going to 43 years old, and you have to wonder, is it worth going to a new team starting fresh this late in your career? Is it all worth it? You look at Joe Montana when he was traded to the Chiefs, Brett Favre when he signed with the Jets and the Vikings, Peyton Manning with the Broncos, but Manning was the only successful Super Bowl, or the only successful quarterback to have a second team late in his prime. He won a Super Bowl in his last year in 2015, but that was only because he had a really good defense to back him up. Von Miller and that Denver defense was that damn good. They kicked the shit out of Cam Newton in the Super Bowl. But Peyton Manning was not that great in his last year. So Brady has to wonder if he really wants to leave the Patriots like this late. If he's just gonna retire, or if he's not gonna retire like this year. Personally, it's not worth it. I'd say just I would just personally just stay, plus you don't even have a successor. It's like if he leaves, it's like you don't even have a backup, you don't even have a quarterback ready. It's like you have this Stidham guy that was the backup for Brady. It's like we don't know how he's gonna be if Brady leaves. I mean, you could have had Garoppolo, but look where he is now. The Patriots could have had Garoppolo, but where is he at now? But the point is, it's like the Patriots, if they allow Brady to leave, it's like they don't really have a plan B in place. So a lot of questions for them. It's just a lot of questions. Sunday. You had two playoff games on the NFC side of things. One big matchup was the Vikings and the Saints. A lot of favoritism in the Saints because one central question for the Vikings: could Kirk Cousins deliver in a big game? A lot of people doubted him. They were saying, nah, not really, because for most of the season the Vikings relied on Dalvin Cook, like the Titans relied on Derrick Henry. I also had a central question with the Saints, in which that can they focus on their own team performance without getting too riled up about potentially another controversy at home. If you remember, whether or not you watch football or any other sport last year, the NFC title game, the Saints were hosting the LA Rams at home, and late in the game, there was a controversial play. Bradley Colby Roman, I think, of the Rams, he pushed off, I think it was Michael Thomas or Ted Ginn or Traquan Smith. I forgot who it was, but one of the Saints receivers, they got Bradley Rogie Coleman, I think it was his name, from the Rams. He pushed off one of the Saints receivers clearly, and it was never called pass interference when it blatantly was, which led to one of the stupidest rule changes in the NFL, where pass interference would be reviewable, would be challenged for at least this season. I'm gonna say why it's stupid later, because something else happened in this game was the reason why it's stupid. So only the Vikings got their answer to their central question on Sunday. It didn't start out pretty for them because they got the ball first. 2 plays in, it's like Adam Thielen fumbled the ball on the second play. Fortunately for them, the Saints only got a field goal out of that, and the Vikings tied it like very quickly. The Saints took the lead with Alvin Kamara touchdown a little bit later in the second. The Vikings responded with a field goal. It was pretty quiet. Like the game was like a defensive battle in the first quarter, but then it really started to pick up like for the rest of the game. It's like things really in the second quarter, things really picked up for the Vikings. It's like Drew Brees was pressured. He was like getting bullied out there. It's like he didn't have the best game like all season. I think this is one of his worst games all season because he was pressured. He was sacked by the Vikings front four all game. He got picked in the second quarter by Anthony Harris. He was also even overthrowing his receivers. So it was a very off game for him. And it just really unfortunate for him. It's like following that turnover, it's like the Vikings turned it into a Dalvin Cook touchdown, so they took the lead, their first lead, with 27 seconds in the first half. The Saints had a chance to tie it, going to at least go into the first half, tied, or at least try to take the lead, but mistakes caught on to them once again. It's like they got a big return, kickoff return. They also got a huge gain from a huge 20-yard gain from Brees to Michael Thomas, but they missed the field goal. They missed the freaking field goal to tie it at the end of the first. So Vikings still lead 13-10 at the end of the first. All quarter long in the third, it's like the Saints punted. The Vikings defense shut them down. It's like the Saints couldn't do anything in that game. So it's like even when the Saints weren't in position to make a play, it's like the Vikings were there to stop them. And it's like, nah. So the fourth comes along. Oh, by the way, it's like at that point the Vikings were leading 20-10 because Dalvin Cook scored yet another touchdown. And the Saints, as soon as you know it, they get a touchdown. Now it's only a 3-point lead, and guess who scores that touchdown? Taysom Hill, the utility man for the Saints. Dude, please give someone Taysom Hill the team MVP. Or like had the Saints made the Super Bowl, there should have been no doubt in my mind that Taysom Hill would have at least been considered like a candidate for Super Bowl MVP if had the Saints make the Super Bowl. It's like, I honestly wouldn't have been that mad if Taysom Hill was a Super Bowl MVP, because in all honesty, he did everything in this game. It was pretty much one of the only reasons, if not the only reasons, the Saints were still in this game. He was the only one making plays. He threw the big pass to Michael Thomas. He threw, to Deontay Harris. I think it was in the first or the second. He had that big 28-yard run, which unfortunately, with less than 5 minutes in that same drive, Drew Brees fumbled the damn ball because of Daniel Hunter. But the point is, it's like Taysom Hill kept the Saints in the game. It's like Drew Brees, as bad as a game he had, he tried everything, but he couldn't finish it. So, hold on. All right. Anyway, so it's like the Vikings couldn't put away the Saints for good, but it's just like the Saints only did enough to send it to overtime. They kicked the field goal. Will Lutz actually makes it this time. So here we are again in overtime. Ah, shit. Here we go again. The second straight Saints overtime since that controversial NFC title game with the Rams, where once again, as I stated, that no call pass interference. So Vikings get the ball first. They march down the field with the dose of Dalvin Cook and Stephon Diggs. But the big play of the game comes from Kirk Cousins when he found Adam Thielen for a big 43-yard pass to set up the Vikings at the 2-yard line. So the Vikings are almost at the verge of winning, but they get sent back backwards. Then the big play comes in. Kirk Cousins finally gets his big moment in his big game. He finally gets his first playoff win when he finds his tight end, Kyle Rudolph, for the game-winning touchdown. And once again, the hearts of Saints fans and the Saints are broken in overtime. Oh, someone keeps calling me. Ooh, I got a lot of calls right now. But anyway, it almost was a like it. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So the hearts of Saints fans, and the Saints were broken again in overtime for the second straight year. And it was broken even more because there was another dose of controversy. Once again, the stadium and television replays decided to show another dose of controversy when it was a little clear that Kyle Rudolph pushed off a Saints defender in the end zone. He was kind of like trying to push off a bit, and then so he can get the ball. That could have constituted as pass interference, but the NFL never reviewed it. They decided there wasn't like substantial evidence that there was pass interference. Dang it. Ooh, I've been getting a lot of calls today. All right, back to business. So Kyle Rudolph kind of pushed off on a Saints defender that could have constituted as pass interference, but the NFL never reviewed it. It's like there was no review, or there's no least instance of a review, because they later said there's no substantial evidence that he was pushing off, and when it was pretty clear that he kind of pushed off. But damn, you gotta feel for the Saints. They're like, they can feel like they were robbed all they want, but it's like, for the second year in the row, they kind of they underdelivered. It's like, especially this game, they really underdelivered. It's just like you're playing catch up all game to the Vikings. Drew Brees doesn't really have his best game. He gets sacked multiple times. He has that critical sack fumble late in the game, which didn't really impact that much, but it's just like, it kind of gives you an idea that this is not Drew Brees' game. And when you have a utility player that's keeping you in the game, it's kind of an idea of where you are right now. It's regards to like how I mentioned that the rule itself, like this whole, like how you can challenge or like booth review pass interference this season, it's pretty stupid, you know? It's like, even like, because of what happened with the Saints and the Rams last year, it's like the NFL put this rule into effect for this season, but it's like, yet when we had those challenges, when we had those booth reviews, like, did we even have a booth review for pass interference, like clear cut or like implied pass interference? It's like nearly half of the time it was upheld. It's because there wasn't sufficient evidence that there could be pass interference in most situations. This was another case of that. So it's like, why do you have this rule? Why do you have this option in the first place when nearly half of the time it's like the person wanting a like reversal is gonna lose, like however clear it is or not, they're gonna just lose it anyway, because the NFL decides there's just, or the officiating crew, the leading down judge just decides there's just not enough evidence. There's just not enough evidence. It's like, why have that rule in the first place? I just feel like it's just gonna go away the following season. As much as coaches want to have challenging pass interference as an option, I don't know, it's pretty useless. It's like, why even have it if you're gonna lose it anyway? But I don't know, it's like challenging a false start when it's clear that it was a false start and you still lose. But I don't know, it's like a pointless rule that's probably gonna go away the next upcoming NFL season. But the Saints really don't have any, they really can't like blame why they lost that game on that one particular instance. It's like they lost this game because of like how they performed on offense, and they just gave up too many big plays on defense. That's why the Vikings are moving on to face 49ers on Saturday. So, of course, the big question is, can Kirk Cousins do it again? Well, we'll see. But the big question will be, will the Vikings defense find a way to shut down Jimmy G and the Niners offense and George Kittle? It's going to be an interesting game. It's like, I feel like this is going to be mainly a defensive battle, but I feel like Kirk Cousins and Jimmy G are going to like light it up too. They could light it up. Obviously, my big questions for the Niners are going to be, it's like, you played in playoff environments like in Seattle, in Baltimore, in New Orleans in the regular season, but that's obviously the regular season. But it's like, how are you going to do on Saturday when majority of your roster hasn't sniffed the surface of a playoff game. It's like I hope they'll do well on Saturday. I know we can beat the Vikings, but it's gonna be a big battle. It's gonna be a really big battle, because the Vikings are a team that you just can't sleep on. Like, you just can't. And then the nightcapper, you had a rematch of Week 12 in the Seahawks against the Eagles, and man, what a way to close out that weekend, huh? With the exact same result from Week 12, 17-9, except this time, Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz gets concussed on what should have been a late hit penalty by Jadeveon Clowney. That hit in the head, that late hit, that never got a flag for. It effectively knocked out Carson Wentz out of the game, because now you have a 40-year-old Josh McCown, who apparently by Al Michaels and Chris Collins were saying that he left his high school coaching job to be the backup for the Eagles. He tried to have his own Nick Foles magic, but he just couldn't pull it off. He almost got the Eagles there, but in their last possessions, like, he turned it over on downs. But that was pretty much the story of the Eagles. It's just like they won the division, but it's just like they were just too injured to continue to fight. But as for Seattle, it's just like, obviously Russell Wilson continues to make things happen for the Seahawks, because pretty much almost everything is non-existent for the Seahawks. Like, even the running game, when you have Marshawn Lynch in there, it's just like they can't do anything. So pretty much Russell Wilson is just there to save the day again. Because he has to save the day, because it's like 17-9 is not a score you can sleep on, apparently. It's like pretty much almost a one possession game, like a touchdown and a 2-pointer that could pretty much tie it. It's like all game they had to like keep that lead. So that was that. I really don't have much else to say about this game, because it's just so boring. It's like, other than they have to face the Packers now. The Seahawks have to face the Packers. Obviously, well, the Seahawks are obviously going to rely on Russell Wilson again, but it's like, will the running game ever take off? But as for the Packers, it's just like, will Aaron Rodgers overcome his like Seahawks demons, because he still has those memories of the 2014 NFC Championship game, and oh man, he doesn't want to relive that again, when he blew that 16 point halftime lead in Seattle. But he needs to get more out of his players. Week 17 was not exactly the most inspiring performance out of Aaron Rodgers. Like, he had the fourth quarter comeback, but it was just not inspiring at all. Like, hopefully they had the bye week to like get together and like establish something. But anything can happen, man. Anything could really happen on this weekend, just like it did with Wild Card Weekend. The Texans like coming back to beat the Bills, in the style the Seahawks did to the Packers in 2015. The Patriots getting shook by the Titans, and now we're wondering if this is Brady's last game as a Patriot. The Vikings upsetting the Saints despite all that controversy. Now they're facing the 49ers Saturday, and now you have the Seahawks going to a very cold Lambeau Field to take on the Packers in a rematch of the 2014 NFC title game. So this is like, here we are. It's like we're halfway to the stretch run of these playoffs. It's like, it's gonna be crazy, yo. It's like you got Vikings, Niners. That's gonna be a good divisional opener. Titans and Ravens could be a sleeper. Everyone was brushing off Titans and Patriots as a blowout game for the Pats, but it's just like, like that turned out to be completely false. So honestly, anything can happen with this game. Texans and Chiefs, that could be an offensive shootout, and honestly, it's just going to be a showdown between Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. But this is going to be a crazy weekend to determine the championship games for the next one. But it's going to be this is actually one of the most interesting ones, interesting playoff weekends I've seen in a while. I mean, the last 2 years, it's like, yeah, it's the Patriots. Yeah, here we go again. It's like they're gonna win it, except for that 1 year where the Eagles won it with Nick Foles, and then 4 years ago with the aforementioned Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. But it's like, you don't have Peyton Manning, or you don't have for the first time since 2017, since Super Bowl 51. It's just like, you don't have Brady, you don't have Drew Brees. It's like all the big favorites that were supposed to be in the Super Bowl, it's like they didn't even get past the first round. That's insane. Now it's like, you either get like, it's literally anyone in the Super Bowl at this point. It could be literally anyone. It could be freaking Tannehill, it could be Watson, it could be Mahomes, it could be Jackson, it could be Rodgers, it could be Wilson, it could be Jimmy G, it could be Kirk Cousins. It could be anyone at this point. It could be any team at this point has it open. It's wide open for the taking. It's like, it's a matter of who wants it much more than the other. And we're about to find out again on Saturday when the next round, the semifinals, take place. But I'm all in for it, man. I'm all in for it. And I hope some of you are too, whether or not you watch football. But it's going to be crazy, yo. It's going to be crazy. So that's going to be it for Dylan Lasagna Live tonight. I got a lot of calls, I got a lot of phone calls for some reason during this episode. A lot of like random stuff, like what to eat for tonight. But anyway, hopefully my voice gets better. Clearly it's not getting better. I thought it was yesterday, but it's not. At least my allergies are gone now, for the most part. But it's just my voice that's like not in a good state, and I think I can't hear myself now. But like, just watching back at this, it's probably gonna be fucked up. It's like as if I've been shot in the throat. But anyway, if you're watching the replay or like this live, I do appreciate all your support for these streams, and I really appreciate everyone that came out to the San Andreas streams on Monday and Wednesday, despite the crappy ending to the GTA stream on Wednesday. It's like, I don't know what the hell happened there, but I hope to have that figured out the next time I stream it. So I don't know when the next gaming stream will be, whether that's San Andreas or it's just some other game that I feel like streaming. But just expect that with like gaming streams here on this channel. They're going to be unscheduled when I have time for it. It's not the greatest schedule, but I hope to have a lockdown one in the future. But anyway, thanks for joining me on this episode of Dylan Lasagna Live. I hope you enjoy this weekend's roundup of NFL semifinal games. If you liked this episode of Dylan Lasagna Live, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, just give it a thumbs down. Leave a comment if you're watching the replay, and give your thoughts on last weekend's wildcard matchups, and offer your thoughts if you like on this weekend's semifinal divisional matchups. All right. And if you haven't already, you already know what to do. Click that subscribe button. And since I'm not for kids, you can click the notification bell. That was another random tidbit I want to pitch in, actually. COPPA is clearly taken into effect today. And all those features that, if you set your channel as for kids, all the comments for the channels and the videos that are made for kids have been turned off. So it's like they've been turned off. There's been noticeably less ads, especially at the beginning of the video for those kind of videos. I'm just gonna use this as an example here. I watched some of Charmix's videos because he was one of the reactors. I kind of got embroiled in that controversy back in 2018 when you all were claiming that I was copying him. But anyway, I was watching some his videos to see if he got hit by COPPA. Obviously he did, because he had to, not all of his videos did, because I guess he did it manually, but it's his reaction videos got hit by COPPA. It's you can't comment on some of his videos. You can't download it, you can't save it to a playlist. I'm also kind of surprised that he it's with the YTPs he reacted to, he said it as made for kids when it's clearly not for kids. I mean, yeah, it's for example, he set the Spinge Bill, Jallerbo Spinge Bill YTP, the sex joke event horizon. He set that as made for kids when hello, it's there's a thing called sex joke event horizon in the title, when that should give the FCC clear implication that this is not for kids. But I guess it had Patrick in the thumbnail, and as I mentioned earlier, it's at face value, it's YouTube and the FTC are probably just gonna say, oh, that's for kids, so it's set for kids. And if it's not for kids and it's supposed to be for kids, well, you're fucked, you're gonna get fined. So I guess I get his reasoning, I suppose. But it's just it's very stupid where YouTube, how YouTube is handling this. It's they didn't give us this general audience option. It's they're only giving it to us with this not for kids option. It's that doesn't really help, it's there are some things that are made for kids, but they also appeal to adults, the Spinge Bill thing I mentioned. I obviously didn't set that as for kids, because I know it's not for kids, and even though the FTC will see at face value it's for kids, if they even bother to watch the video, it's they should see that it's not for kids. They should be smart enough to know it's not for kids if they watch the actual damn video. But it's hopefully they actually have the time to sit through an actual channel's videos, to have, say, for example, a YTP of Gumball, a YTP of My Little Pony, and even though they said it as for kids, it's it's not really for kids, and they said it as for kids, so maybe we could just set it to not for kids, for them. It's and then let them on their way. But I don't know. It's YouTube fucked themselves over with this whole COPPA thing by once again invading the privacy of children and their data, and what they're watching on YouTube. But again, it's just like, what the hell are they doing? What the hell are children doing on the platform in the first place when they shouldn't even be on there? It's like, this is just bad parenting right here. It's like, take your children outside to play. Like, actually do something with them. Don't give them a phone and a tablet. It's like, this is why, like, YouTubers are screwed in the first place. It's like, this is why, like, maybe, like, I know it's like not right now, at least it's like the views for like a Ryan's toy review are doing just fine right now, but like, maybe let's say in, like, theoretically in the next couple months, it's like, well, he's made for kids, and his viewership is probably gonna go bye-bye. So it's just like, we don't know what's gonna happen yet. But I predict it's just not gonna be like very great still. It's not gonna end pretty still. But yeah. Kappa. Wait, what? Oh, what's up, noob? It's not safe outside. Old men and YouTube kids ain't safe still. But even then, still, it's just like parents, like even inside the house, parents need to still be actively doing something with their kids, not giving them a phone or a tablet to have them watch whatever they want to watch on their phone and tablet. It's like, I noticed that, like, when I was at a New Year's party and the Christmas party I had at my house, it's like, I noticed that nearly a quarter of my relatives were giving, or my relatives' kids were letting their kids watch on YouTube or YouTube Kids. And like, I don't want to tell them, because it's just like, I don't want to make an example out of them. But it's like, with this whole Kappa thing, it made me realize, man, I grew up with such a, like, and I don't want to say great childhood, but it's like, I actually did something with my childhood. It's like, I don't know. I know you don't do this often, but it's just like, actually do something with your kid, Don't give them a phone or a tablet, because it's just like, you're just hurting the platform. It's like, and you're also hurting them by exposing them to screens like phones this early in their life cycle. But it's like, I can't advocate for all parents out there. It's like their decision, but at the end of the day, it's just like, bad parenting is one of the reasons why Kappa, which has been around since '98, has made its way onto YouTube, and it's clearly affecting like, at least the comment section and the way you can share your feelings about a certain video or a user on the platform. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Kappa, which went into effect Monday, and like fully on, like, rolling out in the coming days. But so far, like, the MLP, the My Little Pony stuff on my archives channel, the WWE figure videos on this channel that's been around since 2011, they haven't been set by the YouTube algorithm as made for kids, because I think with the I think YouTube tried. I think he tried. I think they tried to set it as made for kids, but I think I overrid it. But yeah, again, it's like, it may not be that bad, but at the same time, it could also be that bad. Like, not right now, at least. And not right now, it can't be that bad, but who knows long term if it will end up being this bad. But I don't want to be too negatively pessimistic here. But it's like, we'll see in the coming months and days and even years if this is really going to have an effect on the platform and how we use it. Because obviously, with something like net neutrality, people were freaking out over that, yet we're still using the internet as we do. But it's like people have left YouTube out of fear with COPPA, but it's like so far I've been fine with it. But I don't know if the YouTube algorithm is gonna like try to screw me over and a bunch of others that have set their channel as not for kids, yet they have like kind of like some kid things in their thumbnails, but when I don't actually use kid things in my videos, like in the actual video. But we'll see what happens in the coming months with like this whole YouTube COPPA thing now fully out on the site. But anyway, that's my full take on that and the NFL playoffs so far. So as I said, if you didn't watch the rest of this, I encourage you all to like go back, rewind in time, and watch through the whole episode of this Dylan Lasagna Live. I pretty much just talked about my thoughts on the NFL wild card weekend, and I can't wait. Again, I can't wait for the divisionals this weekend. It might be a crazy weekend of NFL football yet again. And again, without Tom Brady and Drew Brees, it's just so wide open. It's just literally so wide open. But anyway, that's it for me. Hopefully next week we're back to our normal time of Fridays at 4:30 California time. That's probably 7:30 for all of you in the East. Hopefully my voice is like a lot better than these past couple of days, so I don't feel like I'm talking like an old man. But anyway, that's gonna do it for tonight. Always be delicious, and I'll see you all in the next video or the next stream, whatever. All right, take care all. I'm out.